So, hey, in verse 15, I mentioned this in our last episode, but in verse 15, she had servants. Verse 15 says that she provided food for her household and her servant girls. That means she had staff. Let's talk about why the church conveniently skips this part, shall we? Hello, friend. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Rebecca Massey, and I am excited to really dig into this Proverbs 31. I am so excited to share this with you. I really think it's going to make a completely different shift in the way you look at your life, the way you look at women in general, women in ministry, women in the workforce, in the home. I really think it's going to help set some people free. I know it certainly helped set me free, and I am so excited just to share that with you. So last episode, we talked about how the Proverbs 31 woman isn't actually a checklist. She is an identity to learn from. And today we're going to dig into something that will probably make you feel a little uncomfortable. Listen, I know it does me too, but that is giving yourself permission to get help. Listen, I am the world's worst delegator. And some of that comes from, I'm just a little bit of a control freak. And sometimes that comes from nobody does it the way I do it. But even John Maxwell will tell you 80% is good enough. If they can do it 80% as well as you can do it, then it's worth having. So that is something I personally have actually had to learn how to move into, because I can tell you, I've spent most of my life killing myself trying to be everything for everybody. And it is an unattainable goal. Girlfriend, listen, Linda, it is unattainable. And it is okay to get some help. So first point I want to make is she had servants. Let's look about what that really means. If we read verse 15, let me just read it. Listen, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I actually use reading glasses because I can't see words anymore. Verse 15, she rises while it is still night and provides food for her household and portions for her servant girls. You know what really stands out to me here? This woman, she had servant girls. You know what that meant? She had money. She was wealthy. She had a household staff. Listen, if you've ever had a housekeeper or someone who comes and cleans your house, maybe they come once a week or once every other week, and they come in, they clean your house, that's what they do, right? They have a house cleaning service. It takes money to do that. They're not cheap. They're not cheap. But she wasn't struggling as a single mom. She wasn't doing it all by herself. She was not alone in this. She had staff. That meant she had money. So here's what having servants tells us about the Proverbs 31 woman. She had some strategic thinking. She was a delegator. She managed her resources well. She had wisdom about her own capacity. How many years have I spent trying to kill myself to be everything to everybody? Have a job, raise the kids, keep the house, all the different things, trying to be everything to everybody. And in the meantime, I'm breaking down inside. My health was suffering. My emotional, mental health was suffering. I can't tell you how many times around the mountain I've been on that one. But listen, I didn't understand my capacity. And I think that as we get older, we start to understand, I don't have to say yes to everything, especially, as we're hitting the 40s and our kids are growing up and moving out, we're starting to realize some things just aren't as important as they used to be. I'm not willing to kill myself to be everything to everybody anymore. And you shouldn't either. That's not what you were made for. The Proverbs 31 woman, she knew what only she could do, and the rest she delegated. The second point I want to make about her having servants is that there's a lie that has been propagated about the Proverbs 31 woman that says that good women are able to do it all themselves. So where does this lie come from? Well, it comes from purity culture. It's the martyrdom theology. It's if you can't do it all, then you're lazy, selfish, and you're not enough. And a lot of times the way we respond as an approval addict, for instance, or people pleasers, we usually respond to it as this mentality of like, well, if I ask for help, then I'm actually admitting that I've failed. I need to be able to do this myself. I need to be able to handle this. And maybe you're not an approval addict. Maybe you're not a people pleaser. Maybe you're in the mentality of, I am capable. I can do this. Nobody's able to do this better than me. Maybe you're a little bit of a control freak. That's kind of the camp I fall into of like, I just want to do it my way. I like the way I do things, so I'm going to do it my way. And then my way ends up making me have total burnout. But if you are in the people pleasing category, you're probably thinking, well, I have to do it all myself in order to prove myself. Because asking for help shows weakness. Asking for help shows you're smart. Asking for help shows you're wise. It shows wisdom. It means I'm understanding that I'm going to do what only I can do, and then I'm going to delegate the rest. We fall into this performance trap of like, more is better. If I'm not exhausted, then I'm not valuable. And that is such a lie. Which brings me to my third point. Delegate or die. The framework based off of delegate or die, it is to basically recognize what it is that only you can do. Only you can raise your kids. Only you can raise your kids. Only you can show up and do the work you do. Only you can be the entrepreneur. Only you can love your business and run your business. There's things that only you can do. Somebody else can wash your clothes. Somebody else can do your dishes. Somebody else can do your grocery shopping. They've got grocery shopping that comes to your door. You don't even have to send anybody out or go out yourself. Like Walmart sends groceries to your door. You don't even have to be a part of a subscription plan or anything. Like Amazon ships groceries. You do not have to do all those things. Now, if you love doing those things and they bring you joy, I love going grocery shopping sometimes. I like picking out my own produce. But if you love doing it, then do it. If it brings you joy, do it. But if it is draining you and it is something somebody else could do, let that stuff go. I love a clean house. I love a clean house the way I clean my house. However, it is a grind to do it. I hate cleaning the house. I hate doing my laundry. I'm shopping for a housekeeper, by the way. Those are things that I should turn over to somebody else. They're a grind. They take up more time than I really have or that I really want to give them. And anybody can do them. Anybody can do those things. Only I can show up for my business. Only I can show up for the ministry. Only I can show up to be what I'm supposed to be and who I'm supposed to be and how I'm supposed to be. Only I can show up for my calling. You can't show up for what I've been called to do. My husband can't show up for what I've been called to do. Only I can do that. All the rest of it, somebody else can do that. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, Rebecca, that sounds great, but the first caveat was that she had money. We're going to get to that. I promise we're going to get to that. That's for a future episode, but we're going to get to that. But I know that there's probably something you can let go of, whether it is to get your kids to do the dishes, get your kids to do the laundry, get somebody, whoever, something. I don't know what it is you think you could delegate. I'm bringing up household chores because those are usually the easiest to start with. Even if it's just something as simple as taking out the trash. Your kids can take out the trash. And you may be saying like, okay, Rebecca, I don't have kids. I don't have kids. I don't have the money. What am I going to do? Listen, you have to figure out what's going to work for you. Look at your life. Are you killing yourself to be everything for everybody and doing all the stuff on top of it? Stop killing yourself. If it brings you joy, great. If it doesn't, drop it. If it's something somebody else can do, delegate it. I want you to quit striving to be everything to everybody. That is not who the Proverbs 31 woman is. And if that is what you have been told, then you have been sold a bill of goods. You have been sold a bold-faced lie. And you are killing yourself to live up to a falsehood. some idea that was put in place to control you, to manipulate you, and to make you feel less than. That is not who you are. When we're looking at delegation, we also need to take into consideration the second category is things that you're not good at, and someone else may be better at it. I mentioned if it's 80% as good as you would do it, then it's good enough. You may not be good at something, and somebody else is actually better at it. I fall into that category. I'm pretty good at a lot of things, but there are some things that I am not that good at, and somebody else needs to do them. I am not good at social media marketing. I have not marketed this channel the first time. I suck at it. I'm going to have somebody do it for me because I'm not good at it. And quite frankly, I don't want to be good at it, because if I become good at it, then that's something I'm going to want to control and do myself. And that's just going to add to my plate of trying to do more. And doing more is not the key. Look at what only you can do. Third category. What are the things that only you can do? Protect those things fiercely. Now, let me give you a caveat. As you start to delegate in your life, you're going to have some pushback, maybe outside pushback, maybe within yourself, but you're going to have some resistance. You may feel guilt, shame. You may have thoughts of like, who do I think I am? And I'm not some bougie rich lady who's got all this money to just frivolously spend on someone to come and do my laundry. Who do I think I am? I'm putting my family at risk, or don't put your family at risk. Legitimately, if you can't hire a housekeeper, don't hire a housekeeper. But there's things that you can delegate, right? There's always something you can delegate, even if it just means delegating it to your kids. If you have a 3-year-old, your kid at 3 years old can pick up their own toys. You do not have to go behind them and pick them up. That's what I'm trying to tell you. There's always something that you can delegate to somebody else. And it doesn't always require money. Teach your kids to do chores around the house. If your kids are older, grown and gone, what is it that you can, and only you can do? Protect that. Delegate the rest. If your kids are grown and gone, you're probably not in a financial position where it's going to kill your finances and kill your household. If you want to do your household chores, then do them. I'm not saying you have to do these things. I'm saying quit killing yourself to try to do it all. Another pushback you may have is having some fear of judgment from other women. Man, can I just give you a side note? I used to think to myself, man, I can't stand women. I don't like women. Women, they're catty, they're gossipy. Yeah, I don't like women. And I remember God telling me, I like women. I love women. You're saying you can't stand something that I love. You're saying you can't stand something that I created. You're saying you can't stand who you are. And that was such a sobering, aha moment of God just gently whacking me upside the head a little bit, of realizing, no, women are great. Women are wonderful. Women were God's idea. However, women can sometimes be the hardest on each other. And you know it to be true. If you are a female, you know it to be true. Women are some of the worst critics of other women that I've ever seen. We are the harshest on each other. We are the meanest to each other. And it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way. We should be uplifting each other, encouraging each other, empowering each other. And yet a lot of times you don't find that. And I'm not saying that's true for every case. I'm just saying that it's common. And so as women, a lot of times we have fear of judgment of other women. What is this person going to think about me if I hire a housekeeper, or if I hire a high school kid to come in and do my laundry every couple weeks? Maybe I pay a high school kid $30, $40 to just come do my laundry every other Saturday and just do my laundry. What are they going to think about me? Are they going to think that I'm snooty? Are they going to think that I think I'm better than I am? Are they going to think that I can't cut it? It's your laundry. You can't do your laundry. Listen, you could do your laundry if you just do a load every other day. You throw one in the washer, and then tomorrow throw it in the dryer. Just do 1 or 2, maybe 3 loads a week, and you can stay on top of your laundry really easy. Won't that make you feel so good? I've literally heard other women say that. I have literally sat at a lunch one day where this one woman was telling another woman about how good she's going to feel by getting all the photos, all of her kids photos and stuff, where she's been taking photos and stuff, but she's never really put them in an album or anything like that. She's just got boxes full of photos. And she's like, listen, I went and bought you all these scrapbook photo. They're already done for you. All you have to do is just stick the photos in there, and you need to pull them out of your shoebox and get this done. And it's going to make you feel so good. And I'm just sitting here watching this exchange, knowing how overwhelmed the other lady was of she's raising 3 kids. She's doing good just to get them in the shoebox. And you're going to push on her to do these scrapbook things. You go do the scrapbooking for her. Why don't you do it for her? Serve her. Help her. Don't tell her how she's being a failure by not getting her photos in an album. Do it help her out. Don't criticize her and tell her that she's failing because she doesn't have photos in an album. And then tell her how good she's going to be when she finally performs at a certain level you approve of. I see it all the time. Let me ask you a question. Are you living for the approval of other women, or do you want to live for the approval of God? Because if you're living for the approval of other women, you're going to continue to kill yourself to meet it. Because everybody's got their own opinion of who you're supposed to be and how you're supposed to do. God has already approved of you. And God does not want you to continue killing yourself to try to meet some unrealistic standard. Let me give you a reframe. Instead of worrying about thinking that delegation is lazy or not good enough, or it's not. It's actually wisdom. It's stewardship. We were called to be good stewards, not just of our finances, but of our time, our energy, our talents. It's operating as a daughter and not a slave. See, you're not less than because you ask for help. You're actually showing that you're wise enough to recognize what your limits are. The 4th point I want to bring up about delegation is that when you finally give yourself permission to delegate, there's a few things that are going to change. 1, you're actually going to have more energy for what matters most. 2, you're going to be more present with the people in your life. 3, you're going to be operating from a place of rest and not one of exhaustion. 4, you're actually going to be modeling healthy boundaries for your kids and for those around you. I tell people all the time, we teach others how to treat us. And if we start treating ourselves with importance and value and recognizing our limits and delegating some things, that's teaching others that we see our own value, that we can't be run over and just have everything dumped on us and expect us to pull everything out of the hat all the time. When you're looking at what you could possibly delegate, I want you to ask yourself this question. What would I do with the time and energy that I would get back if I delegated this? You may say, I would actually venture out, start painting, or I would do pottery. I would go into art. I've always wanted to do art. And you may find yourself pursuing a new passion. You may find yourself spending more time in the Word. You may find yourself spending more time in ministry. You may find yourself wanting to start a new job or start a new business. You may decide you want to go back to school and finish that degree you never got. There's so many things that you could do if you weren't doing everything. And one last thought about the money objection. At what point is burnout worth it? How much is your sanity worth? How much is your health worth? How much is your well-being worth? How much are you worth? Are you worth $100 every couple weeks to have someone come do your laundry and clean your house? Are you worth $200 a month? And you may be thinking, Rebecca, I can't even begin. Like, times are tough. Do you not realize the state of the economy right now? I cannot even begin to figure out how to come up with another $200. Okay. What if, instead of spending the time cleaning your house, and listen, this is just an example. There's all kinds of things you can delegate. You may not want to delegate cleaning your house. I'm just using it as an example. But instead of using the time that you would spend to clean your house, you started a business. What if using the time that you would spend cleaning your house, doing your laundry, you started doing ministry? What if, instead of using that time that you would normally use cleaning your house, doing your laundry, that you actually started a passion project? You started working in your community. You started do whatever it is. Like, just imagine, just sit and think about, what would I do if I had an extra 5 hours a week? I don't know how long it takes you to clean your house. It takes me a while because I'm super meticulous, but still, what would I do if I had extra time a week? How would I spend my time? What would I gain back? Maybe you'd take a nap. The possibilities are endless. But what is your value? What is your value? Are you worth having your kids pick up their toys instead of you doing it for them? Are you worth having your teenager take out the trash instead of you having to do it all the time? It's not just about the money. What is your value? How much do you see yourself worth? And let me tell you something. I am preaching to the choir. This is a question my husband asks me all the time and has been asking me for 20-something years. Rebecca, how much do you think you're worth? And I never think I'm worth enough. I never have. I'm actually worth a lot more than I think. Not being tired all the time. Not being stressed all the time. Not being on the verge of burnout all the time. Not having to take antidepressants. Anti-anxiety. Whatever. My mental and emotional health. Oh my gosh. How much am I worth? How much are you worth? The Proverbs 31 woman didn't get up and make clothes and food and stuff for her household servants because she was trying to prove herself or because she felt like she couldn't afford to. She was doing it because she felt like she couldn't afford not to. Because she knew her value. And she knew she couldn't do it by herself. So if you've ever been taught that to achieve this standard of the Proverbs 31 woman, that you're supposed to do it all, well, she didn't. She didn't. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to take an inventory of your life. I want you to look around in your life and think about, what are all the things that I'm currently doing? All the way down to taking out the trash, taking the dog for a walk, whatever it is. I want you to make a list of everything you're doing. And then I want you to look at that list and I want you to categorize it. Is this something that only I can do? Is this something that I love doing? Or is this something that I could delegate to someone else? And then what I want you to do is pick one thing. Just one thing. I'm not saying you have to overhaul your whole life. Start with one thing. Have your teenager take the trash out. Have your 3-year-old pick up their own toys. Hire a housekeeper. Whatever it is. Hire a teenager from the local high school to come over and do your laundry once every couple of weeks. Pick one thing that you can delegate. Now, I know I've sounded really preachy this episode. I apologize for that. No, I don't, because everything I said was true. So I'm not going to apologize for saying the truth. We were reading in Galatians. It was in Galatians 4 again. Paul was like, have I now become your enemy because I tell you the truth? Listen, I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm telling me the truth too. I hope that doesn't make us enemies. I hope that makes us friends. Because in the next episode, we're actually going to explore how she was an entrepreneur. She was a real estate investor. She not just managed a household budget, she ran businesses, plural. And we're going to dig in to what that means for you. So make sure you're subscribed, log into the channel, share this with a friend. Share this with someone who is trying to kill themselves to do everything. And listen, I'm eager to hear what you think about this episode. What are your thoughts about delegation? Do you think I'm totally off base? Or do you agree? Or is there a money issue? What is one thing? I want you to list it in the comments below. What is one thing that you think you could delegate this week? What's the one thing we all have that one thing that's off the top of our head that I could probably offload that. It could be just picking up the mail, whatever it is. What's the one thing that you think you could delegate? Comment down below and let me know. I want to know. I'm eager to hear from you. And I want to remind you, this isn't just about tactics. This is about identity. This is about who we are as women in the Lord, Christian women who live from kingdom, not toward it. And I'm encouraging you to delegate, not because of any tactic, but because you're a daughter of the King. And you're worth more than you think. And my hope is to encourage you to steward your energy accordingly. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you in the next episode. I gotta get a different chair.